In this tutorial video on sweep picking two-string arpeggios, I'll show you the principles of sweep picking across two strings and how this is different from the common arpeggios we typically play across 3, 4, 5, or 6-string arpeggios. So I'll show you exactly what to do to learn and master these little two-string sweeping arpeggios, and then I'll show you how to play them very fast so you can increase your sweep picking speed. Hi, I'm Tom Hess. When I first learned how to sweep pick, I got pretty good at 3 and 5-string arpeggios, but the 2-string sweeping arpeggios were really hard for me. I couldn't play them as fast and as clean yet as I could the other ones, and that was really frustrating. The guitar teacher I had at the time helped me to master these 2-string arpeggios, and today they're super easy to play fast and clean. Now, I've taught these same 2-string arpeggios to thousands of my online guitar students over many years, and today I want to help you. First, I'll show you the critically important technical things you need to do so that you're sweeping in the most efficient way possible. This will help you to build tremendous speed on the guitar. Then, I'll teach you how to make sure that your 2-string arpeggio playing is not only super fast, but super clean and accurate. Next, I'll show you how to connect different 2-string arpeggios together so that you can shred up and down the guitar neck. And finally, I'll give you some great sweep picking exercises for 2-string arpeggios. Let's get started. In example 1, we're going to be sweeping across the first 2 strings on frets 3 and 2. Now, what you'll notice is that we're going to be sweeping across with a downstroke. So that's not 2 individual downstrokes. It's not down and then down again. It's just one downstroke that covers both strings. You hit that string and then you hit that string, but the pick never stops moving. That's the most important piece for the right hand. The pick cannot stop in between this note and that note. It's just one motion. One motion. The same thing when we play the last 2 notes. It's one motion up. It's not up and then up again. It's the pick just falls onto the next string, sweeping across, one motion. Okay, so we got this. Now for the left hand, what we want to do is we want to avoid that the notes bleed together. We don't want this sound. Otherwise, it sounds like we're just strumming a chord. And that may be cool if you're playing rhythm or whatever, but here, we want the separation. So that means that after you play the first note, you've got to lift this finger off the string. You don't have to have it fly away, but you want to release the pressure. And the same thing when we go from this note to this note. So from note 3 to note 4 in our example, this finger has to release the string. We don't want this. So we only want one finger down at a time, so we have separation. Let's take a look at example number 2. So what we have here is the same little D major arpeggio we started with in the first example. But we're just simply going to move this through the key. So we're in the key of D major, so we've got D major, then we've got E minor, then we've got F sharp minor, and we got G, A, B minor, this is C sharp diminished, this is D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G. Starts to get pretty crowded up here, so I'm going to go back down. We could go up to A. It's pretty tight there. So we're just going back down through the key. Now, you may have noticed that I changed the fingering. What's written in the example is to use fingers 1 and 2 and then fingers 1 and 3. And then it says to use fingers 1 and 3 again. And then there's a change to fingers 3 and 2. You might be wondering, well, why don't we use these 2 fingers? And you certainly could. You could use those fingers. The reason why I change is that once we get up high on the neck, it's easier to do it with these fingers because we're running out of room than it is with these fingers. You have to really crunch up your hand. So I just make the switch over to this, etc. So this example, what's really important here is after you got the first arpeggio that we showed you in example 1, the next most important thing is getting from this to that note. And that's the tricky part, really, actually. It's really not the sweep picking, it's making the change to get here in time. That's why in the tablature I've written out each arpeggio twice to give your brain a little bit more time to transfer from one arpeggio to the next, from shifting from one position to another position. And you can do it where you're not playing each arpeggio twice, and it's a lot harder because you have less time to think and then shift. But the point is that when you're practicing it, here's what I would suggest. Just up to there. And then just do that because that will help you practice the shift. Then it'll be easier to connect the arpeggios together. That's sort of the secret, is just practicing in isolation, etc. Now, one more thing that will help you to learn and master guitar speed in general is to check out my video on how to break through speed barriers on the guitar. So the principles that I talk about there will help you to master the lesson that we're going through right now. Let's take a look at example number 3. So in this example, we're really just moving the arpeggio around. In the first 4 measures, it's the same thing, just moved from fret to fret. So we're up here at B minor, playing the 12th fret and the 10th fret. You play that twice, and then you move down to the 11th fret and 9th fret. So now we're playing an A sharp diminished arpeggio here, actually. And then we slide up to the 14th fret, and then back to B minor. So you can think about it like this. That's basically what's happening there. This is D major, diminished, B minor, B diminished, A sharp diminished, sorry, and then repeat the whole thing. Now once you get to here, then we go down to G. Okay, and you play that 4 times. Then F sharp, major. Then back to G. Then we're playing G sharp diminished. Then A. Then A sharp diminished. And just end on a B note. So it's a really cool, sort of neoclassical-like sounding sequence of arpeggios here. Cool sound. Let's talk now about how to practice these 2-string arpeggios and these little 2-string sweeps so that you can build the speed on the guitar and have it become easy when you're sweep picking fast. all right, when you go through these sweep picking exercises. So there's a set of priorities that I would recommend to think about while practicing. So the first of these priorities is actually not what you might think. Normally I would say in a situation like this that the first priority would be the efficiency of the picking hand. In this case, that's not the top priority. The top priority is the synchronization between the two hands. So even if the efficiency is not totally perfect yet in the right hand, that's okay for now. We'll come back to that later on. The most important thing is that there's the synchronization between the two hands is there, because if that's not there, all the efficiency in the world in this case won't matter. So when I talk about synchronization, here's exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, this is exactly how to practice this sort of a thing. When you go from, I'll go back to this first example, this little D major arpeggio. When you practice this, or when you play this, the timing that's most important here is not when you play the notes, it's when you lift off the notes, okay? So, again, it's not when you play the notes, it's when the fretting hand lets go of the notes as it plays the next note. So what I mean is, as the second note is played, this one here, the first note has to be released at exactly the same time, okay? So there's three things that we're trying to synchronize. The first is you playing the second note. We're synchronizing that note with the picking hand, of course, so it hits the note when the middle finger, in this case, or first finger, is playing, and that we release the first note. So this finger comes up exactly when that finger goes down and is picked. So we're synchronizing this lifting up, that going down, and the pick hitting that. That's the most important thing. The most important thing to master this. You've got to get those synchronization between those three pieces. This lifting up, that going down, and the pick hitting it. That's what you got to master. Because the first note's easy, right? There's not much to synchronize. You hold the note down and you pick it, you're good, right? It's this. These two fingers have to move at exactly the same time. And the same thing happens when you go the other way. So we're going to pick this note, and then we're going to come down to this one. And again, we're synchronizing three things. As the middle finger comes down, when we're descending, that finger comes down, this finger has to come off at exactly the same time. If you take it off too late, you'll get bleeding. You'll get a little bit of the two notes bleeding together. We don't want that sound. If you take it off too early, you choke the note. And then it sounds all choppy. So that's not good either, right? That is the key to mastering this. After you've gotten that down at a really slow speed, then worry about the efficiency of the picking hand, making sure that it's picking straight across, etc. But the synchronization is top priority for this type of arpeggio. This is not true with everything, but it is true with this type of arpeggio. If you like this video, subscribe to this channel and click on that notification bell so that YouTube will tell you when I publish a new video. And hit that like button. Now, let me know by leaving a comment below what other sorts of topics you'd like me to make new videos on. And if you like my videos on YouTube, you will love my personalized breakthrough guitar lessons. I'm going to show you exactly how to transform your guitar playing from being just okay to being really awesome, even if you're stuck right now or if you're having some self-doubts. You know, imagine just how much better your guitar playing will become when you know exactly what to do and exactly how to practice it. And have the guidance and the roadmap to get you there. I've done this for thousands of people over the years. If you do the work, if you practice at least 30 minutes a day and follow what I show you to do, I'm absolutely certain I can help you become the guitar player you want to be. I do this all day long, every day. This is what I do, okay? So unlike other lessons, you're not going to get some generic cookie cutter lessons from me. You're going to get exactly what you need to become the player you want to be. You get lessons customized to you, to who you are, what your goals are, what your challenges are, your strengths, your weaknesses, your learning style, experience, frustrations, and most importantly, who you want to become as a guitar player. So check out my breakthrough guitar lessons at tomhess.net/guitar and see if they're right for you. I'll see you on the other side.